Before we dive in, hey, could you hit that subscribe button? Thank you so much. Now, picture this. 10 minutes before my wedding, I discovered something impossible. I could read minds. But only one mind. My husband-to-be, Dylan. The wedding was about to begin. My heart was racing, nerves everywhere, when suddenly, I heard it. His voice. Not out loud. In my head. And what he said nearly broke me. If Stella hadn't rejected me last night, I would never have married Nora. If she weren't so obedient, I would have run away long ago. I froze, staring at Dylan, waiting for a sign, a smirk, a laugh, something. But no, his face was serious, unreadable. For a moment, I thought I was imagining it. Just wedding jitters, right? But then his voice came again. Clear, full, and real. Stella. I knew that name. His childhood sweetheart. The girl who had always been just a friend. The one I never questioned. Until now. My thoughts pulled me back to the very first time I met Dylan. Freshman year. I was the stubborn girl dragging 5 heavy bags to campus. 5 seniors struggled to carry them, until Dylan appeared. Smiling. Effortless. Witty. He carried my things, made me laugh, and from that moment, we were inseparable. So why? Why Stella and me? Maybe my face betrayed my thoughts, because Dylan actually came over, concern painted on his features. Nora, what's wrong? You look pale. But in his head, the truth bled through. This woman is so annoying. Does she really think the world revolves around her? I swallowed my hurt, pretended calm, and asked casually, Dylan, why isn't Stella here today? Weren't you too close? His smile froze. His eyes shifted. It doesn't matter. Today is our wedding. But the words barely left his lips when the door burst open, and there she was. Stella. In a wedding dress. Breathless. Beautiful. Dylan, she cried, you said if I ever came back, you'd wait for me. Do your words still count? In that moment, the world tilted. Dylan stood between us, drunk on vanity, his ego swelling under the gaze of 2 women who wanted him. Inside, I rolled my eyes. What a disgusting scumbag. But outwardly, I smiled, my tears falling, and pushed him into a corner. Dylan, today is our wedding. All our relatives are waiting outside. If you call it off now, how will you ever show your face again? He didn't know it yet, but my family's company owned this city. One word from me and his career, his entire life, could crumble. Still, Dylan only looked at me with annoyance. It's just a bride. I can always get another. That was it. The final straw. I turned to my cousin who managed the very hotel we stood in. Cousin, the bride is changed. Make sure they pay the full venue price. Her eyes widened, but she smirked, turning to Dylan. Do you even know who my cousin is? Break off this engagement, and you'll regret it. Dylan scoffed, insisting my family was ordinary. So my cousin flashed her work badge and gave him the bill, 650,200 yuan. His face drained of color. He spluttered, angry but powerless. And when he tried to crawl back, muttering, Nora, I was confused. Don't take it seriously. Our wedding can still go on. I only smiled coldly. Because at that moment, Dylan finally understood. The game wasn't his to play. The hotel next door? I almost laughed out loud. Dylan wasn't protecting Stella at all. He was feeding his own ego, the same way he always did. Even now, behind that stiff smile, his thoughts were already cursing her. Their so-called love. Nothing more than vanity wrapped in pretty lies. His family had always bragged about him, the perfect son, the brilliant scholar from the big city. But if he walked out of here in disgrace today, tomorrow he wouldn't be their pride. He'd be their shame. So Dylan did the only thing left to him. He lowered his head, swallowed his pride, and begged. Nora, I was just being foolish earlier. Please don't take it seriously. Our wedding will still go on as planned. I smiled, clapped my hands. No need. Your love shouldn't be disturbed by someone like me, a mere mortal. I'll step aside. That was when my cousin stormed in, calling security, ready to throw every last one of Dylan's relatives out onto the street. His mother rushed forward, her voice shrill with fury. "Nora, I always said you weren't worthy of my son. And now you prove you have the heart of a snake. Calling off the wedding at the last second? Do you think our family is so easy to bully?" I tilted my head, smiling coldly. "Auntie, please be clear. It's not me causing this scene. It's your son. He's the one with unresolved feelings, the one drawing other women here in wedding dresses. If I don't run now, I'll only end up betrayed later." Her face paled, but she wailed louder, collapsing to the ground. "Everyone look. My poor son is being wronged. The bride's family is backing out. They're trying to ruin him. We even gave them money. If she leaves now, she must return every cent and compensate for my son's youth." She thought she had me cornered, but she hadn't seen what I had prepared. With a click, I projected the dressing room surveillance footage onto the big screen. The room went silent. Her face turned ashen. "Auntie," I said sweetly, "now you can't say I wronged your son, can you?" Whispers rippled through the crowd. Relatives who once praised Dylan now shook their heads. So respectable on the outside, but behind the scenes, playing games. And her family? Wealthy, powerful, it's a miracle they even considered him. Dylan's family turned from pale to purple. Their lies crumbled. His mother scrambled to her feet, smiling thinly. "Nora, I was angry. I didn't mean it. You're the only daughter-in-law I recognize." I almost laughed. Like mother, like son, their lies even matched. So I reminded her of her own words. "Didn't you promise to return everything? The dowry was a car, 5 million yuan, already in your son's hands. Renovations for your home, 1 million. Return it, or face a summons from court." Dylan grabbed my arm, his face dark. "Nora, must you shame us like this?" I brushed him off, calm as ice. "You were the ones who embarrassed me first. And don't forget, I've kept every receipt. Deny it, and I'll bring evidence." His mother lunged, ready to strike me, but I only pointed to the camera above. "Auntie, there are cameras everywhere. Hit me, and I'll take another house from you." Their fight drained from them, their pride shattered, and with a snap of my cousin's fingers, security dragged them out, dust clinging to their clothes. I stood in the doorway, watching as Dylan's mother tore at Stella's wedding dress in rage, screaming, "You ruined my son's wedding, you vixen." But Stella only screamed back. "Your son came to me last night, begging me to be his bride." The scene was chaos, a theater of shame. And I simply watched, because this was just the beginning. Tomorrow, Dylan and Stella would find out the truth, that I wasn't just the woman they betrayed. I was their superior, their boss. Then, gentle hands pulled me back. My parents. Tears filled my eyes as they said, "Daughter, don't let yourself be wronged. We'll help you take revenge." I could only smile through the ache. They had opposed this marriage from the start, fought to protect me, and I hadn't listened. If not for their final concession, I might have walked into this trap alone. But now I wasn't that naive girl anymore. "Don't worry, Mom, Dad," I whispered. "Your daughter isn't someone who gets bullied so easily." The next morning, I refused their offer to escort me to the company. Revenge was mine to deliver. I wanted to see things with my own eyes. Not from the top floors where deals are signed and masks are worn, but at the grassroots level, where the truth always leaks through the cracks. That's why I didn't let my parents send me to the company. If I walked in with them, everything would be exposed. And the moment I stepped inside, I knew I was right. A crowd had gathered, cheering. "Congratulations to Stella, our new department manager." "Stella? Manager?" I stood frozen, just as her gaze locked on mine. She smiled sweetly, poison behind her teeth. "Well, isn't this Miss Nora? With your wealthy family, why would you even bother coming here to work? Don't tell me everything you said yesterday was just for show." And right on cue, Dylan's voice cut in. Smug. Mocking. "Where's all that confidence now, Nora? Cat got your tongue, now that Stella's your boss." Whispers spread. "You know them? She's the one who chased Dylan here?" Stella's the real deal. Manager straight out of college. Who does this new girl think she is? I watched as Stella looped her arm around Dylan's, her smile as delicate as spun glass. No wonder they could play lovers in public without shame. No wonder yesterday's chaos hadn't touched them. But I wasn't the naive girl they thought I was. First, I said calmly, I'm not the new little employee you think I am. And second, if Stella is promoted, where's the company's official announcement? Silence. Stella's lips tightened. She had nothing. That was when a portly man pushed through the crowd. Chester, the general manager. This young lady was personally recommended by me. Headquarters is reviewing it, and her appointment will be official soon. Of course. Now it made sense. I pulled a folder from my bag, holding it up with a smile. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Because this, I tapped the contract, says I am the department manager. The crowd gasped. Stella's face twisted. She lunged, snatching the papers from my hand. Impossible.
Who's keeping you?
Don't tell me you climbed into this position through connections. I met her glare with a smile. Careful, Stella. I've studied more than you.
I'm older than you.
If I'm kept, then what does that make you? The girl bragging about a promotion she doesn't have. Her face burned red. I turned smoothly to Chester. General manager, I hope you'll manage your employees well. Otherwise, I'll have to raise the matter with the board. The color drained from his face. His polite mask cracked, his eyes sharp. Miss Nora, even if you were sent by headquarters, you have no right to interfere with me. Stella's recommendation is based on her work. Entirely reasonable. I could see it now, everything. Dylan and Stella, hand in hand, playing their little game.
Chester protecting them.
And everyone else too afraid to question it. So I let Chester walk away, thinking he'd won. Let Stella smirk, whispering as she passed me. So, what if you parachuted in? You'll never be able to touch me. Then, loud enough for everyone to hear, she added. Let's thank Nora for treating us tonight. I heard she reserved the most exclusive restaurant in the city. Gasps filled the room. That place? It costs hundreds of thousands for a single night. You have to book a month in advance. I just smiled. The restaurant? It wasn't for them. It had been my father's gift on the day of my coming of age. But if Stella wanted to use it to play games, I'd play along. Yes, I said evenly. Dinner's on me. But not because of where I come from. If everyone works hard, I'll make sure there are raises in the future. By dusk, Stella was already at my desk, her tone mocking. Reservations for that restaurant take months. Don't tell me you're going to back out now? That would be humiliating for the company. I lifted my phone, smiling. How could I? The reservation's been waiting for us. We can leave now. Suspicion flickered in her eyes. But when we arrived at the restaurant and the waiter stepped forward, blocking my path, Stella's smile returned like venom. Nora, she said, feigning pity. If you couldn't book it, we'd understand. But being stopped in the lobby? That's humiliation for you and for the whole company. I didn't answer. I only looked at the waiter, confused. Because deep down, I already knew something wasn't right. My parents had already told the staff I was the future owner of this restaurant. So why was I being stopped at the door like a stranger? The waiter's face hardened, her words slicing. Young lady, without an appointment, you can't come in. And if you're going to make up a room number, at least pick a believable one. That room belongs to our boss, reserved for her private guests. Don't pretend to be rich. Look at you, you don't even dress like the wealthy customers standing here. I glanced at Stella. Knockoff clothes from head to toe, yet somehow the waiter's eyes saw her as the rich one. And in that moment it all clicked. Stella's little games, her smugness, her patience until now, she had been waiting for this exact scene. Her smile widened, cruel and satisfied. Since that's the case, why don't I treat everyone instead? I ignored her and called a waiter over. Calm, steady. Bring your manager. I clearly reserved a room. If this waitress insists on blocking me, I want to hear it from someone in charge. Stella snorted, voice dripping with disdain. Nora, stop putting on a show. If you can't afford it, just say so. None of us want to be embarrassed with you. And one by one, the voices joined hers. Yes, exactly. You bragged for nothing. I left my child at home for this? Their accusations hit like stones, but I didn't flinch. I simply smiled at the waiter. I hope you won't regret what you just said. She sneered. Regret? Not a chance. My manager is my backing. Even if you booked that room, I'd find a way to keep you out. And that's when the manager himself rushed out. His face pale, his voice urgent. Boss, why didn't you call ahead to let me know? This new girl, she doesn't know better. I'll discipline her immediately. One word. Boss. And the room shifted. The crowd's eyes turned toward me, stunned. The waiter froze, her face draining of color. Impossible, she whispered. She's the owner? The manager's glare was ice. I told you to remember the higher-ups. And now you've insulted our boss.
Apologize immediately.
The waiter's lips trembled. Boss, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize. I cut her off, voice cool. You didn't say that earlier. You said your manager was your shield, that you'd stop me from eating no matter what. So tell me why? We've just met. Why such malice? Her face went white. Her hands shook. And finally, with nowhere left to run, she pointed a trembling finger. It was
Stella.
She messaged me this afternoon. Told me to make things difficult for you. Promised me 10,000 yuan if I pulled it off. The air split open. Stella's eyes blazed. You liar.
I don't even know you.
I smiled faintly, cold enough to burn. Manager, settle her salary. We won't keep her in this restaurant. Whispers spread through the staff. The truth was out, and Stella's carefully spun mask was starting to crack. But the story didn't end there. The very next morning, Dylan cornered me at the company entrance, his face twisted in a mix of awe and anger. Nora, why didn't you tell me you owned the delicious restaurant? I gave him a look sharp enough to cut. Oh, I would have told you after we were married. But it seems you weren't destined to live off a woman, were you? His fists clenched. It's just a lousy restaurant. What are you so proud of? Stella is the daughter of our chairman. Do you hear me? The chairman. I tilted my head. Then why are you still running after me? You're the same as always, eyes on what's in the pot, while you're still clutching your bowl. He couldn't answer, just turned, throwing words like stones over his shoulder. This weekend is my engagement party with Stella. I hope you're still so sharp-tongued when you're fired. I watched his back disappear, my chest heavy. Engagement party? Stella, the chairman's daughter? At the office, the mood had shifted overnight. The same colleagues who mocked her yesterday now surrounded her desk, their flattery nauseating. Stella, you're from such a wealthy family, we never knew. You'll have to put in a word for us. Our future depends on you. She met my eyes as I entered, lips curved in a half-smile. Don't give me credit. Arner's reputation is what matters. After all, she's only the owner of the delicious restaurant. The others turned on me instantly, sneers in their eyes. How could that compare to Stella's family background? Her family's company runs half the city. Offend Stella, and you'll be ruined here. I almost laughed out loud. Yesterday, they spit on her. Today, they kneel. How could everything change so fast? And then it hit me. I pulled out my phone, opened Stella's social feed. And there it was, my father's car, bright and undeniable. She had snapped a photo, but cropped it just right. Only the license plate showed, with a carefully chosen caption. In this world, only our parents truly stand by us. They're the ones who care for us the most. That's why, when I saw the way my colleagues instantly changed their faces after seeing my father's car, it cut me deeply. Everyone at the company knew my dad's license plate. And just like that, because Stella posted a photo of it with a clever caption, they all believed her ridiculous rumor that she was the chairman's daughter. I couldn't help but think, don't you have your own parents to lean on? Why must you steal mine? For a moment, I wanted to expose her right then, to write out the truth in bold letters and tear her mask off. But I stopped myself. Her engagement party with Dylan was this weekend. I wanted to see with my own eyes how she planned to cover up her lie in front of everyone. Stella mistook my silence for fear. She leaned close, her voice dripping with smugness. If you apologize to me now, Nora, maybe I'll convince my family not to blacklist you. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Oh, you've already forgotten what you did last night? Should I remind you? And by the way, those clothes you're wearing today, aren't they last year's style? Why isn't the young lady keeping up with the latest fashion? Her eyes flickered with guilt before she forced a sneer. Just wait. You'll find out this weekend. One of our female colleagues, clearly nervous about the rising tension, jumped in to smooth things over. Nora, this is just Stella's sense of style. You just arrived, so maybe you don't understand. She often pairs her clothes like this. I almost burst out laughing. I couldn't tell if she was defending Stella or accidentally mocking her. Sure enough, Stella's face turned green. Mia, what do you mean by that? If you don't understand aesthetics, then don't speak nonsense. Be careful, or I'll dock your pay. And as for you, Nora, my parents won't let you off the hook. I raised an eyebrow and replied lightly, maybe they won't. But right now you're working under me, and you dare threaten your superior? Consider yourself warned. Your performance bonus for this month is cancelled. Surely our young lady won't mind losing such a little bit of pocket change, right? Her jaw tightened, her eyes burning with resentment. But she forced a smile and ground out through her teeth. Of course I don't care about such a small amount. Still, her mask was cracking. Before leaving on Friday, she made a point to stop at my desk. Her eyes glinted with triumph as she declared, in the end, Nora, I'll still be the winner. Dylan will still marry me. I gave her a disdainful look. If you enjoy picking up trash, that's your choice. Just make sure the two of you stay together forever, so no one else has to suffer. As for me, I won't stoop that low. She smirked. You probably don't know yet, but Dylan is about to be promoted to vice president of the company. I'd love to see what you'll use to oppose us then. I only chuckled softly. Perfect. Because the truth was, long before Dylan and I called off the wedding, I had already planned my revenge. Dylan believed his promotion came from Stella's family connections. Stella believed that being with Dylan would guarantee her a good life. In that sense, they really were made for each other, two dreamers lost in their illusions. Let them enjoy their fantasy for one more day. Tomorrow, their dreams would shatter. The next morning, I timed everything carefully. My father personally drove me to the hotel where Stella and Dylan's engagement party was being held. By the time we arrived, nearly everyone from the company was already gathered, buzzing around the happy couple, showering them with flattery. Stella, I heard the chairman is coming today. Please, put in a good word for us. She lifted her chin with false elegance. My dad is very busy. He doesn't have time to come. Let's talk about it when Dylan and I get married. But just then, sharp-eyed colleagues spotted my father's license plate. Excited whispers rippled through the crowd. Look, it's the chairman's car. Stella, it seems your father really does care about you. He came all this way for you. Stella's face stiffened. Enough. I already told you my dad doesn't have time today. Stop talking nonsense. Dylan was the first to sense something was wrong. His eyes darted to the car. Stella, don't you recognize that license plate? I couldn't hold back my laughter any longer. For someone like Stella, who spent her days coasting through work, avoiding responsibility, not recognizing her own father's license plate said it all. Why should I recognize someone else's license plate? She snapped. The car door opened. I stepped out slowly, a smile playing on my lips. So, the chairman's daughter doesn't even know her own father's car? Interesting. Every pair of eyes turned toward me. Shock rippled through the crowd. Nora, you're the chairman's daughter? Stella's face went pale, but she still tried to argue. Impossible. How could she be the chairman's daughter? Who knows if she just stole this car from my house? Her voice grew weaker with each word, especially as my father stepped out of the car and walked to my side. His expression was cold, his presence commanding silence. This young lady, he said firmly, watch your words. Nora is my daughter. It is only natural for me to drive her. To call her a thief, that is going too far. Dylan's face turned ashen. He stumbled forward, bowing his head. Chairman,
I'm sorry.
It's all because my fiancé spoke too bluntly. I'll teach her a good lesson later. But about my promotion to vice president. My father gave me a helpless glance, but his voice was like steel. Dylan, do you really think that after betraying my daughter, I would still allow you to rise in this company? On Monday, go to the HR department. Collect your final salary and then leave. The silence that followed was deafening. Dylan stood frozen in place, unable to process how quickly his dreams had crumbled. Not only had his promotion vanished, but his entire career was gone. Stella's face twisted with disbelief, her carefully crafted lie shattered beyond repair. And as for the colleagues who once mocked me, then worshipped her, they didn't dare utter a single word, terrified that the next downfall might be theirs. I stared into Dylan's eyes, searching for the thoughts I once could read so clearly. But this time there was nothing. The connection between us was gone. And in that silence, my heart felt light. Had I finally freed myself from him? Of course, Dylan misunderstood. He thought I still cared. In front of everyone, he slyly slipped me a hotel room key, like some pathetic secret invitation. My fingers tightened around it for a moment before I glanced at it with disgust and tossed it casually into the nearest trash can. Not long after, Dylan's mother spotted me. Her voice carried sharp enough to cut through the entire hall. Isn't this the girl my son rejected? How dare you show up at his engagement party? Let me tell you, my daughter-in-law is the chairman's daughter from Xingming Company. You should be grateful Dylan didn't marry you, otherwise he wouldn't have such a perfect match today. Dylan's face paled as he tried to stop her, gesturing desperately. But his mother wouldn't be silenced. She leaned closer, her tone dripping with superiority. I heard you're working at Stella's company now. If you cancel all the money my son owes you, maybe, just maybe, I'll allow you to keep that little job. Otherwise, think carefully about the consequences. I didn't give Dylan the chance to step in. Instead, I raised my voice just enough for the nearby crowd to hear. Auntie, you're still as greedy as ever. But times have changed. That money you took, you'll be returning it. I'm sure you've already received the court summons. And as for Dylan and Stella, I sincerely wish them happiness. May they cling to each other forever and stop harming others. You don't need to worry about my job, but perhaps you should start worrying about your sons. The color drained from her face. Dylan quickly pulled his mother aside, whispering frantically, Mom, stop. Nora is the chairman's daughter. We all got it wrong. His mother's knees nearly buckled. She stumbled back toward Stella, her shock turning to rage. And then, without warning, smack, she slapped Stella across the face. You liar! How dare you deceive me? Give me back the money I gave you. Only then did I understand the full story. Stella, pretending to be my father's daughter, had demanded a dowry of $1 million from Dylan's mother. The family, desperate to match with a powerful heiress, sold their house just to raise the money. They were waiting for Stella to sweep them into a mansion. Instead, their dream collapsed before their eyes. And just when the hall couldn't get any more chaotic, disaster struck again. In the middle of the scuffle, they bumped into Chester, who foolishly tried to intervene. But from inside his suit jacket, a piece of lacy fabric slipped to the floor. Stella's underwear. The room went silent before erupting into gasps. Dylan's face turned crimson. Without another word, he lunged at Chester. Fists flew, chairs toppled, and within moments the grand engagement party transformed into a full-blown brawl. Guests didn't even try to stop it. They pulled out their phones, eager to capture every scandalous second. And me? I sat off to the side, calmly cracking sunflower seeds, savoring the drama like the best live-action show in town. By the time the police finally arrived, slow as always, Stella's once-perfect hair was a mess, with a bald patch showing from the tug-of-war. I couldn't help laughing. But Stella wasn't done. She jabbed a finger at me, her voice shrill. Officer, it's all her fault. If it weren't for her, none of this would have happened. Arrest her immediately. What she didn't know was that the officer in charge today was my cousin. He had missed his chance to confront Dylan at my ruined wedding, and he often complained in the family group chat about it. Now fate had delivered Dylan straight into his hands. I met my cousin's eyes and let tears slip down my cheeks. Officer, when I was supposed to marry this man, it was that woman who destroyed everything. And now they're still trying to frame me. I'm truly the victim here. Dylan's mother dropped to the floor, seizing the moment. Officer, she's right. This woman is a con artist. She tricked our family out of $1 million. You must help us get it back. My cousin looked at them with utter disdain. His voice was sharp, decisive. Shouting here is useless. All of you, come with me to the station and give your statements. As they were escorted out, I flashed my cousin a subtle thumbs up. The next time I heard about Dylan and Stella, it wasn't from gossip. It was from my cousin's update in our family chat. At the station, Stella had suddenly claimed she was pregnant and demanded Dylan take responsibility. Dylan's mother exploded, insisting the child must belong to Chester. The fight spilled out onto the station steps, a spectacle in its own right. And just when we thought Stella might finally be forced to return the money, another twist came. Dylan and Stella had secretly gotten a marriage certificate. The Dylan family was stunned, trapped by their own choices. Worse still, Stella's web of lies was deeper than anyone realized. The $1 million she'd taken had already gone to cover online debts, and she still owed enormous sums abroad. I sent one short reply in the family group. Well done. Then I tossed my phone aside and went back to binge-watching my show. Because in that moment, I understood something crystal clear. Love is too fragile, too unreliable. A man can betray you without hesitation. But me? I was done with all of that. The story ends.